Yeah, welcome back to the show. Saturday League kickoff. Scott Sattler and Adrian, the Mad Russian Presenko, is in for Andrew Webster. Like, if you're just joining us for the show, whether you're viewing us through Fox League or on the SEN network, Webby's 50 this weekend. So happy birthday, Webby. Having a big shindig tonight. Broncos won't make the 8, boys. 158. We've got plenty of text coming through. If you do want to get involved in the show, 0457 736 736. And if you want to give us a call, 1300 01 1170. Now, big win for the Bunnies last night, 22 points to 14 over the Broncos. And their assistant coach, Ben Hornby, joins us on the line. The Burrow would have been absolutely humming last night. How are you, Benny?
Yeah, I'm good, boys. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you very much. You snap a 4-game losing streak, and I know we're just talking about Desi Hasler earlier on. The coaches are always happier after a win. You have a nice sleep thanks to temper. So last night, it seems as though it was all really built on great defensive efforts. Benny, is that fair?
Yeah, it has, and we've had so many changes to our side the last couple of weeks, so attacking-wise it's hard to get any sort of fluency. So we've been working hard in our defence, and it has been a lot better this year, and it's been the reason we've won quite a lot of games. So if we can keep that going and hopefully get a little bit more fluency in our attack, we'll be in good shape.
Benny, just talk us through the injury situation. I mean, Cody Walker, Jack Wyden, Cameron Murray, Alex Johnson, Tyrone Munro, Peter Mamazoulis, Michaeli Ravaloa. It's one of the worst injury wards that I've ever seen for the Rabbitohs. How have you guys been able to negotiate yourself through that period?
We've just been going with the next man up policy. I mean, it's not ideal for us, and like I said, it has hindered our game a little bit, but the boys that have been stepping up, and a lot of them got a bit of game time last year as well, so that's been a big help, and the confidence that Wayne puts in everyone to do their job is there for everyone to see.
Now, I know we want to talk about some of Latrell's efforts, but there's a lot of other players around him that they go to that victory last night, Benny, and as an assistant coach, you get to look at those little efforts. But there's one player this year, is Keaon Koloamatangi. Now, he's been a transformation. Firstly, he just looks notably lighter this year, and secondly, it seems to have spiked his overall game. So the question is, Benny, is it because of the changes that he's made at this part of his career, or is it the maturity that he's now got in his game, or is there a little bit of both?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I think he's definitely put a renewed emphasis on his conditioning, and that was evident from the first moment he stepped into the pre-season. He'd lost a heap of weight, and he looks fantastic. And then on the weekend, he went into the middle, and he's a world-class middle. I know he plays a lot of his footy on the edge, but he did a great job for us last year in the middle, and we just thought with how we'd been going, it was a chance to put him back in there, and he showed what he can do. Now,
let's get on to Latrell's game last night. Usually it's in attack and the things that he can create for other players, but as we touched on earlier on, it was about those last line defensive efforts. They were pretty inspirational as a leader of a team, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And Latrell does that all the time in defence, to be fair to him. He makes big tackles all the time, and you could tell from his first couple of carries, like I think his first carry he ran straight at Pat Carrigan, and then his second carry he ran straight at Payne Haas. So you knew that he was on. They're not blokes you really want to be running into on kick returns, but that was just putting him in that mindset that he needed to be, that he had to lead by example. He had to show the boys that there was no backward step from us. And like you said, those try savers, one on Payne Haas and then one on Mariner in the corner, was huge for us, along with his field goal, obviously.
Benny, you being a great player yourself, and you've come across some players now as a coach, and the really good players, they still like to be coached. There's some that just do the bare minimum, and they can still be able to perform on the big stage. What's he like, Latrell? Take us inside the mind of Latrell. Is he a coachable kind of player?
Yeah, he is, but he's quite relaxed. I think that's the biggest thing with Latrell. He gets on from mistakes and those sorts of things pretty quickly. I think that's what separates him and the great players. They can come up with big plays, and if they don't come off, they don't dwell on it and take it into the rest of the game. They get on with it. Latrell definitely does that, and like you said, he's very coachable. He's always willing to listen, and just his demeanour, how relaxed and calm he is most of the time when he's off the field, helps him as well.
Ben, we all marvel when we see a 49-metre field goal attempt under the ultimate pressure. What sort of things does he actually do in the rain? What sort of things does he do at training where you just sort of shake your head in disbelief?
Oh, all the time. Some of the passes he throws, same with Cody at training, it's unbelievable stuff sometimes, the stuff you see at training. But these guys practice that like all our field goal takers. I mean, Jamie's probably our number one, but he's for the ones a little bit closer, and he kicked one earlier in the year as well. But they put a lot of practice into it, and it's won us 2 games, the field goals. So, the work they've put in, and we have a bit of a muck around every now and again after training, just saying, look, we only got one shot here, so let's have one shot, and we tally it up. And the boys are really, doing a good job.
Ben, you've got so many exciting, sometimes enigmatic players. Can you just give us a bit of an update on Josh Schuster, how he's travelling? He's been playing in the New South Wales Cup, and what he brings, and potentially when we can see him in the NRL.
Yeah, Josh has been going along pretty good. He's doing a good job in New South Wales Cup at the moment. He had an injury-riddled pre-season, obviously had a lot of time off with what happened to him in the previous year or so. So it's been a bit of a long road for him, but he's starting to get close to getting back now. And if he can keep performing in New South Wales Cup, then an opportunity could be right around the corner.
Hey, Benny Hornby, we're talking to if you're joining us on SEN and also Fox League. Now, Benny, Jamie Humphreys, back into the side. I don't know what it is, but when I've watched South this year, it seems as though he seems to have some sort of calming effect on the team. Is he that sort of player? Because he seems mature well beyond his years.
He is. He really, really is. He's a great person too. Super fit. Loves the game. Wants to get better. Wants to learn. Like you say, he's a calm head. He's nice and cool. He does a lot of the kicking. So looks like he's just born to play halfback, really. So we couldn't be more happy with how he's going. And he was a little bit rusty in the first half, as you probably saw. He hasn't played for a couple of weeks, but as the game went on, he got better and better, and he'll only continue to get better every week. Now,
Benny, there's a rumour getting around the circles that when Wayne smiled, the fresh air hit his tooth, and that's why it fell out. So has he had the tooth fixed?
The tooth's been fixed twice and come back out twice. So he's got to stay away from the apples and the bread and whatever else he's using on that front tooth, because it's just coming back out. So Benny, the next one might have to be a sturdier job.
Well, it meant that you had to step in for his post-match press conference the other day. Can you tell us, I guess, Benny, for yourself, what it's been like having some experience as a head coach, albeit in a caretaker capacity? What has that been like for you, and what are your ambitions sort of going forward?
Yeah, well, obviously I'd love to coach first grade. That's the ambition. It's been great to have Wayne back. Obviously I've known him for a long time, and sometimes you sort of forget some of the things he does and around training and around how he talks to the boys, and he's obviously been a great help for my career as well. So just continue to learn. That's what you do in this game. You just continue to learn off different people and different styles and try and mould it into what you want to be. So that's definitely the ambition. Time will tell whether that happens or not, but that's what we're striving for.
Has he taken you up to the farm at Warwick yet? Have you got an invitation?
No, I haven't got an invitation. I'm sure he'd take me up there if I wanted to, but I don't think he thinks I want to go there. So I haven't got an invitation up there yet.
So apparently when players visit the farm, you get a cow named after you. So that could be something to look forward to, Benny.
Could be the next step in my career, you reckon?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, next week is Origin selection, and you've got a bye during that Origin period with a number of other sides. Benny, how many have you sat down as a coaching team and looked at possibly losing over that Origin period for both Queensland and New South Wales?
Well, we haven't really looked that far ahead, to be honest. With the amount of injuries we've had, we've just been trying to make sure we get a competitive team out there each week. So, I mean, the usual suspects will probably be there, and I hope Keaon's put his name up to be a chance of getting selected as well after last night. I'm sure they could use a back row middle there somewhere.
Yeah. Now, on the injuries, Campbell Graham, it looks like last night he's throwing his body into everything, which means usually when you're putting your body in front of people, those injuries that have concerned you in the past have maybe stabilised a little bit. So he's in a good frame of mind from an injury perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. He got a bit of a cork last night, so similar to Jai Gray, so that's given him a bit of grief. But his sternum now is really good, so that hasn't been a problem for him. He had a little bit of a sore back, again, just adjusting to coming back to playing NRL after having a year off.
Yep.
So, he's got a couple of niggles just from coming back, but you've seen he's played most of our games and he's been out there, so he's doing a great job for us, and it's great to have him back.
Ben, can you tell us a little bit about Bud Sullivan and what he's brought to the team? And it's an unusual situation in that he was at the Tigers and it's sort of like a one-year loan deal, and there's a bit of a question mark about what he does at the end of the season. But is he a guy that potentially you'd like to see at the Rabbitohs longer term?
Yeah, we would. He's been great for us. I mean, start of the year coming off the bench, and he's a genuine number 7, and I think the more games he plays, the better he'll get. He's always been a great player through the junior ranks, and there's no reason why that can't filter through to NRL if he gets enough opportunity. So for Bud, it's just about getting better every week and getting consistent about his game. His defence has improved out of sight. You would have seen that last night. He put a couple of good shots on, and he's back down to a less playing weight, so he's feeling a lot better on the field as well. So we're excited about what he can do for the rest of the year. And like I say, if he gets a run of consecutive games, as you know, most halves sort of start to figure it out as they get a little bit older. So we're looking forward to seeing that.
Now, Benny, before we get to our to get you to vote for our Temper great night's sleep player, who would have had the best sleep last night? We've got a text here on 0457 736 736 from Muttley. I'm thinking this is a former teammate of mine, but he says, would Benny Hornby be putting his hand up to coach the Bears? I
would, if they were interested. Like you say, you never know what's going to happen around the corner. So At the moment, I'm happy what I'm doing at South, but if an opportunity did come up, I'd be silly not to look at it, considering that's what I want to do as my career path.
Well said, well said. Now, Benny, from last night, South Sydney, which player do you think would have had a great night's sleep for Temper?
That's a good question. I'm thinking of who would have put in the most effort out there. I think Keaon would have had the best rest, actually.
Yep.
It's not very often Keaon comes off with cramps, so I think he had 20-plus carries and a heap of tackles, so I'm assuming Keaon would have slept well last night.
Good stuff. That's the difference. The difference is Temper. That's our Temper player of the night. Thank you very much, Benny Hornby. You got the Tigers, 6 p.m. at Campbelltown next Sunday. Well done on the victory last night. Good luck next week as you go into a buy-over Origin period. Thanks for joining us on Saturday League Kickoff, mate.
Thanks, boys. It was a pleasure.
Let's get to a break here on Saturday League Kickoff, and coming up next, the big news throughout the week.